Hello everybody and welcome to another video. So this video is part of a new series called Programming Challenges in Java, in which we take a look at various coding challenges or coding problems, especially the ones found on various competitive programming websites like LeetCode, CodeWars, then CodeChef and so on, and try to solve them on our own. Okay, so the problems that we are going to take a look at are not very difficult. They are moderately difficult, but still we are going to try and solve them on our own. So for the very first episode, let us take a look at the problem that we have for us. So this here is a website called CodeWars, which offers various programming challenges for the user to solve. So I am currently at the beginner level of CodeWars. I should say I'm not competent enough to take on the hard or the experienced programming levels. So I'm trying out the beginner level first. So here is our problem, and I'm going to be attempting to solve the problem using Java. So first of all, it says write a function that takes a string of parentheses and determines if the order of the parentheses is valid. The function should return true if the string is valid and false if it's invalid. So this is the text of our problem. So we'll have to create a function that takes a string of parentheses as input, and it will check whether the order of the parentheses is valid or not. So there should be a matched pair of parentheses for every opening bracket. There should be a corresponding closing bracket. So if the order of parentheses is perfectly normal, then it should return true. Otherwise, return true, which means the string is valid. And if the order of parentheses is not okay, if there is some issue with the string, or if there are not enough parentheses in the string, it will return false. So here are some examples that you can check out. So first of all, you can see there is an opening first bracket and a closing first bracket. So both the pairs of brackets are evenly matched. So for the opening first bracket, there is just a single opening first bracket, and for that there is a closing first bracket as well, and therefore it is this string is considered valid and it is returning true. And for the next example, we have a closing first bracket followed by a opening first bracket, then a couple of other opening and closing brackets, and it is false. So let us check out why exactly it is false. That is because you can see the number of opening and closing brackets are not evenly matched, and their order is uneven. So you can see at the very beginning there is a closing first bracket, but before the closing first bracket there should have been an opening first bracket. So that is invalid, because it says the order of the parentheses should be valid. So if we take the order of parentheses into consideration, then the opening first bracket should come first, and then it should be followed by the closing first bracket. But here the closing first bracket has appeared first, even though there was no opening first bracket. In the next statement, we have got a single first bracket. So obviously this is a false string or an invalid string, because in this case the opening first bracket is not followed by a corresponding closing first bracket. So in the second and the third examples, the number of in the number of parentheses in the string is not evenly matched. So for every opening bracket there is not a corresponding closing bracket. So the order is not valid. And in the final example, you can see it is true, that is, the string is true. So it means that for every opening bracket there is a corresponding closing bracket. So if you check it out, you will see that this is perfectly acceptable. So here are some constraints or some conditions that we have to keep in mind while trying to solve the problem. First of all, the length of the input can be 0, and it can go all the way up to 100. So the length of the input can be between 0 and 100, not more than that. And along with the opening and closing parentheses, input may contain any valid ASCII characters. Furthermore, the input string may be empty and or not contain any parentheses at all. do not treat any other forms of brackets as parentheses, such as the third bracket, second bracket, or the greater than and lesser than symbols. So these are some of the conditions that we have to keep in mind while trying to solve the problem. So along with the opening and closing brackets, there can be some other characters, alphanumeric characters, and those characters are to be excluded from our analysis. We'll only be considering the opening and the closing brackets in our problem. Apart from this, the string can be an empty string. It can also be it may not contain any parentheses at all. So do not treat any other forms of brackets as parentheses. So if there is if the input string is empty, then obviously it will be a valid string, because there are no opening and closing brackets at all, or it may not contain anything at all, any parentheses at all. And if there are any other forms of brackets, such as the second bracket or the third bracket, or any angular brackets like the ones that we use in HTML coding, those are to be excluded from our analysis. So this is the area where we are supposed to type the code, and these are some sample tests which are going to be executed, which the website will execute when I click on this test button. So it will check my solution against a variety of random strings, and it will determine whether my solution is acceptable or not. So first of all, let us take a look at the algorithm that we have created for solving this problem. So I've already solved the problem. I'm going to go through the algorithm first of all. So here what we'll do is we'll create a character stack. So stack is one of the data structures that is included in the Java collections class. So the advantage of using a stack is that whenever we are encountering a first bracket, we'll be pushing it onto the stack, and when we are encountering its closing bracket, the corresponding closing bracket for the first bracket that we pushed earlier, we'll attempt to pop the previously pushed first bracket. So there are two possibilities that might occur when we are trying to pop the previously pushed first bracket. So if we encounter a closing first bracket and try to push the try to pop the previously pushed first bracket, opening first bracket, and if we encounter an empty stack, that indicates that either the stack is empty, or for the closing first bracket there was no corresponding opening first bracket, and in that case the string is invalid. But if while attempting to pop the closing first bracket we find a corresponding and evenly matched opening first bracket, then we can assume that the string is valid. So we are going to be creating a character stack. So if you do not know what is a stack in Java and how is it implemented, you can simply refer to this excellent tutorial that is available on Java Point. So let me just go through this. So here is you can also look it up on Oracle's official tutorial or documentation. You can just find it here. So I would suggest checking out this Java Point tutorial because it is more user friendly. So stack is like a data structure that we have. So it is a type of last in first out structure. So the data that is pushed on the top of the stack at the very last, it is popped out at the very beginning. So when you are pushing a series of data values onto the stack, and after the pushing is over and you are trying to pop the values from the stack one by one, the value that was pushed at the very last, that will be popped out at the very beginning. So for that very reason it is referred to as a last in first out or LIFO data structure. So as it says, the Java collection framework provides many interfaces and classes to store the collection of objects. One of them is the stack class that provides different operations such as push, pop, search, etc. So I'll be leaving the link for this particular tutorial, both for the tutorial on Java Stack available on Java Point, as well as the official documentation for this stack, which is available on Oracle's website, down in the description below. So just go through it if you do not know what is stack and how is it implemented in Java. So the thing is, first of all, we'll be creating a stack, and after creating a stack, we'll be traversing the string expression that will be provided for analysis using a loop. So after we traverse the after we start traversing the string expression, if we find, we'll be taking all characters one at a time, and we'll be checking each and every character. So if the current character happens to be a starting bracket, then we'll be pushing it onto the stack. So we'll be ignoring all the other characters, and we'll be concerning ourselves with only the opening first bracket and the closing first bracket. So first of all, we'll be checking the starting bracket, that is the opening first bracket, and if we find an opening first bracket, then instantly we'll be pushing it onto the stack by using the push method. After that, we'll be if we encounter, so if instead of a opening first bracket we encounter a closing first bracket, then we'll try to pop the previously pushed opening first bracket, that is the starting bracket, from the stack. And while trying to attempt to pop from the stack, we may encounter two situations. So if the stack is empty, if while trying to pop the value from the stack we find that the stack is already empty, it means that there is an error, and for the closing bracket there is no corresponding starting bracket available. So that indicates an error condition, and that indicates that the string is probably invalid. So in that case, what we'll be doing is, if the empty stack is found, we'll be keeping a boolean value and we'll be setting it to false, and we'll also be keeping a flag value which will set to 1 and exit the loop. And if the stack is not empty, that is if there are values still remaining on the stack, then we'll be popping the last opening bracket that was pushed earlier from the stack. And after the traversal of the loop is after the traversing the entire length of the string, we'll be checking the value of flag that we had set earlier. So initially the value of flag will be set to 0 at the beginning of the program, and after this, at the end of the program, we'll be checking the value of flag. If flag equals 1, it indicates that while we were traversing the string and we were attempting to pop an existing starting bracket, we encountered an empty stack. So that means that we had run into some kind of error condition, that is because the string was invalid. So that indicates that the stack was empty even when there was an existing closing bracket in the string. So maybe there are two possibilities: either the order of the string was uneven, so for every closing bracket, for every opening bracket there was no corresponding closing bracket, or vice versa, or there is a possibility that there was an only at the very beginning there was the closing bracket and it was not preceded by a starting bracket. So this indicates that the string is invalid, and so if the value of flag is 1, so that indicates that the stack was empty, and we can assume that an error condition has occurred because the string was invalid, and will be returning a false value. After that, in the event that the value of flag variable is 0, that means that we had traversed the entire length of the string, and while we encountered a closing bracket and tried to pop the corresponding opening bracket from the stack was not found to be empty. So the stack was not found to be empty under any circumstance. So in that case, the value of flag will not change from 0 to 1, and what we'll be doing is, the entire string was traversed and the stack wasn't empty, so the value of flag has not remained remained unchanged. So initially the value of flag was 0, and it has remained 0 even after traversing the entire length of the string. So the stack didn't become empty at any stage. So if the flag is 0, there are two more things that we need to check. So if the flag is 0, we'll have to check whether even after traversing the entire length of the string, some characters are still remaining in the stack or not. So if all the if the number of opening and closing brackets were evenly matched, that is, for every opening bracket there was a closing bracket, there should be no remaining characters on the stack, because whenever we try to attempt whenever we encounter a closing bracket, automatically we will be popping off its corresponding or associated opening bracket. But if it so happens that even after traversing the entire length of the string there are still some characters remaining on the stack, that means the number of opening and closing brackets are not properly matched, that is, their order is uneven. So for that reason we'll be returning false, that is, we'll be setting the value of boolean variable that we'll be using later on to false. And the second possibility is that the stack is completely empty, that is, there are no remaining opening brackets or starting brackets in the string. So this indicates that for every opening bracket or starting bracket there was an associated closing bracket. So the stack wasn't empty, the stack was empty, and there are no remaining values in the stack. That means all the opening brackets that had been pushed to the stack have been popped out. So the stack is empty and we can return true. So now let me take a look at the program code. So like I said, we'll be using the stack data the stack data structure in our program. So as the stack is a part of the Java collections class and it is included in the Java util package, so we'll be importing this java.util package at the beginning. So let me just go through the program code quickly. So initially you can see there are two variables, boolean state which is equal to true and flag which is equal to 0. So we have created a new character stack by using this statement, stack character stk equals new stack. So the name of our stack is stk and its type is character. And now we are traversing through the length of the string called parents. So the string that we are going to be using here is known as parents, that is, the variable name is parents, and we are going to be traversing the string in this loop. And here we are going to be extracting each and every character from this string using the charity statement. And if at any stage we find an opening bracket, what we are doing is we are pushing it onto the stack. Just ignore this line, it is not a part of our code. So whenever we encounter a starting bracket, we are pushing it onto the stack by using the stk.push statement. And this one is also not required, so I am just commenting it out. And then I'm continuing, and I'm giving the continue statement, because once we find an opening bracket, I do not want the program to go through the remaining statements inside the loop. So for that reason, whenever we encounter an opening bracket, we are going to skip the remainder of the loop by using the continue statement. But if we do not encounter an opening bracket and we encounter a closing bracket instead, then the rest of the statements here will be executed. So if we encounter a closing bracket, then first of all we'll have to check whether the stack is empty or not. So if we encounter a closing bracket and we try to pop some value from the stack and we find that the stack is empty, that means for our closing bracket there was no corresponding opening bracket. So then we will change the value of this boolean variable called state to false from true, and the value of this flag variable to 1. It was initially 0, and then we'll break out of the loop using the break statement. But if the stack is not empty, what we'll be doing is will be popping the value from the will be popping the value, that is, we will be popping the existing first bracket from the stack. Okay, so this comprises our the core logic of the program. Okay, now let me move on to the next part, that is at the end. So if the so after we complete the traversal of the string, and after we are done with this loop, before we are ending this program, we'll be checking the value of flag. So if the value of flag is 0, that means when we try to pop an opening first bracket from the stack wasn't empty, and so we hadn't encountered any issues, and so the value of flag wasn't changed from 0 to 1. That means there were no problems while we were trying to pop the existing opening brackets from the stack. So if the value of flag is 0, that means we had traversed the entire length of the string and the stack wasn't empty. And after that, what we'll be doing is we will check that whether the stack is empty or not. Alright, so after traversing the entire length of the string, the stack is supposed to be empty. So if there are still some values remaining on the stack, say if we have traversed the entire length of the string and there are some opening brackets still remaining on the stack, that means that for every opening bracket there was no closing bracket, right? So for that reason, some opening brackets are still remaining on the stack. So according to the logic of our program, whenever we are going to be encountering a closing bracket, we'll be popping up its associated opening bracket. But if even after this some opening brackets are still remaining on the stack, that means for every opening bracket there was no closing bracket, and for that reason the opening brackets that are still remaining on the stack weren't popped off. Alright, so for that reason the stack is still empty, is not empty. So this is not supposed to happen, and if the stack is empty, that means if the stack is not empty, that means the string is not a valid one. So that means will be if the stack is not empty, we'll be changing the value of the boolean character to false. But if it is empty, that means the string is valid, and we'll be changing the value of the boolean character to true. And finally, at the end of our code, we'll be returning the boolean character's value. So this is the coding for our program. So let me just copy and paste the code into the ID that we have in this section. So let me just replace this code with our solution. I'd already tested it earlier and it worked just fine, so I'll be attempting to test it once again. It will take a few seconds to execute. So you can see it says you have passed all the tests. So here are some sample tests that were executed, and my code was tested with all of these parameters, and it seems no error was found, and all the tests were executed successfully. So it says you have passed all the tests, and now I'll try to attempt to submit the program. So I'll click on this attempt button, and it will run some more tests using some random and randomly generated strings. And it seems my random test, the random series of tests and fixed tests, those have also been executed and no problems were found, which means my problem is successfully completed. So this comprises the solution to this particular problem. We'll be taking a look at other problems in our subsequent videos. So I hope you liked the very first episode of our new series called Programming Challenges in Java. So if you have any suggestions or questions or queries pertaining to this problem or to this series in general, you can leave them down in the comment section, and I'll be trying to respond to each one of your queries in due course. So I'm signing out now. Have a nice day everybody, and take care, and I'll see you all in my next video.